Alright, I'm gonna show how this gun works in a nutshell, and also a basic disassembly of it, since a lot of people's been asking how it works. So you have the magazine, cartridge, bolt, stock, and basically the rest of the gun. That makes it a gun. So you load the cartridge in the magazine, which is spring loaded. You insert it into the magazine well of the gun, and you slam the bolt forward. Sorry about that. And then, well, you fire it, and then you open the bolt, pull the bolt back, and then it ejects the cartridge. So again, so how it does that is you have what's called extractor, which is, well, it can be made out of anything. In this case, I just use a little strap of metal bar that I basically modified into a little hook. So you have a spring back here, a pin that goes through it, through the portion of it, back portion, and then the hook up front, which hooks onto the rim of the cartridge. And also you'll have the ejector, and this is a plunger type ejector, so all it is a little rod, the spring loaded rod. And so that when the cartridge is on the bolt face, it's under the spring tension of the plunger, which is trying to push the cartridge out. And so when the round clears the receiver, that spring tension pops the round out. So the stronger the spring tension, the more force it's going to have to pop the round out. So that's the basic extract and injection in a nutshell. And there's plenty of other videos out there that'll show you exactly how that works. And so now I'm gonna get down to the disassembly. So to start off, you eject the magazine, and the magazine is just simple three component. You have the floor plate, or floor plate, spring, the follower, and the magazine body. And the next step is to remove the bolt. And to do so, you have a bolt release button right there inside of the trigger guard. And you press that, open the bolt, and you press that in, you pull the bolt back, and it just comes right out. So it's just a little simple hook that depresses down when you press in the button, and that allows the locking lug to clear the lock so that it'll slide out. So there's the bolt. I'm going to disassemble that later on. And that's the basic field strip. And if you go in depth, you're going to take out these screws. And I got 3 screws, just for the stability's sake. Usually it's just the front and the back, but because the whole receiver is elongated a little bit to accommodate the magazine release, I have 3 screws. And after all, it is paper, so it tends to flex a little bit, which causes a little bit of problem as far as feeding and such. And I think that's good. So you just pull out the lower half of the receiver, and there you have it. Just a little basic skeleton of a hardened paper receiver. So you have the magazine release right there, which I'm not gonna take apart because it's under a lot of spring tension. It's a little bit of hassle to put it back together. So you press forward on it. That latch allows the magazine to release. So you press forward on it and just fall right out. Very simple hook and lever operation. And the rest of the receiver just comes right off. And so you have the stock with the cross pin. It's extra reinforcement pin as they call it. So you'll see that in most of the rifles like the M14 and such. And so you have the trigger group, receiver, and the barrel. And this thing right here, which just came off, is the bolt release. So you can see how that works. It's very simple. Got a lever and all that, spring-loaded lever. So to take it apart, you just take that off, undo this screw right here, which releases the bolt stop. So you see how that stops the bolt. So just a little rinky-dink little piece of flap of metal, paper. And I do believe I have a paper clip that runs through the middle center of it as a reinforcement. Can't really remember. And here's the trigger group. So you have the trigger weight screw, which basically loosens or tightens the spring for the trigger pull, and you have the sear engagement screw. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but you have a little cutout right there. So it basically moves the trigger back and forth to the desired position. So you have a feather, you can have a feather touch trigger and all that. Honestly, it don't really matter for me. And so to take this assembly off, just punch these two pins out, if I can. There it goes. Just pop these out, and these pins are made out of the same nail as this. It's trimmed down and reshaped, and the whole thing just comes right off. And so you have the sear, and I'm gonna take the side plate off so you guys can see how that works. And this is just like the original Remington trigger group, very simple, basic, and there's plenty of websites out there that'll show you exactly how that works. And just to show you how that works in a nutshell. So this sloped surface, sloped surface right here is what the cocking piece hooks onto, and because it's sloped, it's under a constant downward pressure, and when you pull the trigger, it allows the sear to be depressed downwards by the firing pin spring tension and basically disengage the cocking piece and fire the gun. So visually speaking, it doesn't look very reliable, but actually surprisingly it works pretty well. So surprised with that, but I mean, the real thing works with that, so why not? I don't see why not. So that's really that. And then you have the barrel, which in the real thing you would need a torque wrench to take off, but in this case I just use this cap and a cap from a soda bottle. So I mean, they do withstand somewhat of pressure, decent amount of pressure, so for what I use, it's okay. I'm not gonna shoot, like a little magnum rounds or something like that, so it's okay for what it is. So there's all the main components, and finally I'm gonna go through the bolt. And again, this is just like the real parts, or real thing, which will disassemble it just like it. So if you're interested in real guns, I'll just go to those videos, and they'll show you how to disassemble, like Remington 700 and such. So you're gonna pull back on the cocking piece and unscrew the bolt shroud, and then you get the firing pin with the firing pin spring. And this is just a big chunk of metal bar that I dremeled down to a fine point. And I also have a little band of paper that's super glued in place with a cross pin going across to prevent it from sliding. So it's able to withstand a lot of spring pressure, as you can see. And to take that apart, you basically try to depress the spring and punch this pin out, right? Small pin. See if it works from this side. There it goes. And that's what keeps the cocking piece onto the firing pin. And then you just take off the shroud and allow the firing pin the spring to come off. So there's the firing pin spring. And again, it's all under a lot of tension, so make sure it don't fly over. I gotta be careful, make sure it don't fly everywhere. But how this is attached is very simple. You got a little small notch cut into the back of the pin, and this slides over and you have a pin that goes through, a smaller pin that goes through, and then basically locks in place. And that's all to it, really. And then last but not least, I'm gonna take off these ejector and extractor. So again, these are held by little small pins, which are made out of paper clips. And here's the extractor. So it's just a little sheet of thin flap of sheet metal that I cut using strong scissors, and just cut little sections in the corners right there, and then roll them up to where it will accept the pin, and curve the front end into a hook so that it will engage in the rim of a cartridge. And I had to make like 3 of these to get the right size and shape before I got this one. So I just, trial and error. And then finally the plunger ejector. Again, you just depress the plunger a little bit to release the spring tension, and then try to punch the pin out. So there you are. And slowly release this pressure on it, because these are the parts that will fly away and you'll never get it back. So there it is. Again, this is just a little slightly modified nail that I trimmed in the right size. Length, and I cut a little elongated groove across it with a file. So with the pin in it, it'll never travel further than that, and it'll still allow it to depress and extend back to its original place. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Again, just like basic real firearm mechanics, just all the parts are improvised with what I have around the house, mainly paper. But as far as I can see, you can make this out of anything like plastic or wood. It's just you gotta understand the material physics of it, what it can take and what it can't, or handle and all that, the pressure. And again, it's mainly paper, but you still have to have other material like metal, like paper clip that runs through the center of it to make it strong. And that's really pretty much it. So I'll probably have to do something about this stock. But other than that, it's all good, since as you saw in the videos of me shooting it. So I'll try to load up more blanks, and if not, some of the, I'm not gonna go for a full lead bullet, but like almost like a sable round, which will have somewhat of a kick to it, and try to do like a little penetration test with that. But as far as that goes, that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned.